That's right, Avengers as Dragons, Part 2. There's a lot of other franchises that I want to take characters from and turn into dragons, but I figured before I move on to things like My Hero Academia and Ben 10 and DC, I had to do the highly requested follow-up to Avengers as Dragons. I mean, technically my Avengers Villains was a sequel to this, and the Deadpool and the X-Men as Dragons was kind of a follow-up too, but this will be a more official sequel to that Avengers as Dragons episode. So I can take characters like the Hulk and Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, Black Panther. And remember that for every like on this video, a dragon gets its wings. Or is that fairies? I don't know, either way, leave a like, let's see what happens. Now on to the Hulk dragon. Our first dragon of the day is indeed quite large, but also very thin and non-combative. A bit boring to look at when in its resting state, so instead, we'll be taking a look at the gargantuan smasher after it's been hit with a rush of adrenaline. See, when this dragon gets scared, anxious, and most specifically, angry, an overwhelming surge of adrenaline pumps through its veins and its musculature massively expands. It nearly triples in size, and its skin shifts to a vibrant green color, and purple veins pulse through its body. The dragon also has a series of armored plates across its body that protect it both in its small form and its large state. But as it grows, these plates are pulled from each other, revealing the creature's purple underbelly. This could be seen as the creature's weakness in that larger state, but in actuality, those areas are still incredibly tough and difficult to puncture with even the strongest spears and swords. The only thing that has been known to calm these creatures' rampages when they are enraged is, oddly enough, a well-sung lullaby, though there are few confirmed cases of this actually working. One final thing to note is that these dragons do not have claws, but of course this doesn't stop them from being incredibly destructive and formidable beasts, as the massive fists on their wings can smash through solid rock, and their heavily armored tails are powerful enough to level a small mountain, given enough swings. The best thing to do if you ever come across one of these beasts is simply to not make it angry. Trust me, you won't like it when it's angry. Now, one of the most requested Avengers off of the back of the last Avengers episode was to do the Hulk as a dragon. And I've spoken before in other episodes about how when I'm doing Avengers stuff and turning Avengers into anything else, I tend to avoid the Hulk, not because I don't like him, I think he's awesome, but there's not a ton going on with him visually. He's kind of just a big muscular green dude in purple shorts. But a few people in the comments suggested making the Hulk dragon a dragon that was really small and grew, and I loved that idea, and so obviously I went with it. But the other thing that I decided to do was I decided to look at this character differently. Instead of going, well, the Hulk is a really simple design, so I gotta make the dragon a simple design, I said, okay, well, the Hulk's a simple design, I gotta take the main stuff about the Hulk that people want, make it a big dragon, make it really muscular, make it green, put a bit of purple in there, and then I can just take some creative liberties and do whatever I want with the rest of the design, as long as I don't change it up too much. And admittedly, I think the plating makes it look a little bit less Hulk-like. It almost seems like something that would have worked well for my The Thing dragon from the Fantastic Four episode that I did a million years ago. But either way, I really love how this dragon turned out. I think it's one of my absolute favorites from all of the dragon videos so far, so I hope you all like it too. Here is our Hulk dragon, the Gargantuan Smasher. Our next dragon is the wingless orbital marvel. Much of this creature's existence is shrouded in mystery, and some have even theorized that it's not of this Earth. These dragons spend much of their time soaring through the Earth's upper atmosphere, despite the fact that they have no wings with which to fly. Nobody is certain how they remain airborne, but the common theory is that if these dragons aren't from outer space, then they are just magic. As these dragons spend much of their time out of sight, humans have rarely made contact with them, and on the rare occasions when we have, no one has managed to slay one. They're incredibly agile flyers, and of course with no wings to pierce, it's doubly difficult to bring them out of the air. Plus, their hides are incredibly durable, and they're seemingly as tough across their entire bodies as the North American shielded wyvern's famously unbreakable wings. They also don't breathe fire or really any substance that we can comprehend. The energy is a multicolored glow that can be fired as a powerful beam to incredibly destructive results. Rumor has it that the Titan of Death once dueled with one of these creatures, and the orbital marvel managed to cause significant damage to the Titan before returning to the upper atmosphere. While many would love the opportunity to study these creatures, because they are rarely seen by human eyes, many who do have the privilege of spotting one simply choose to stare and marvel at these incredible dragons. Now with Captain Marvel, I knew I wanted to try something a bit alien. I wanted this one to seem like it could be from outer space, but maybe wasn't. And I think the thing that sells that the best is what I end up doing with the eye. I make it all kind of black with just some, like, shiny glints in it, almost looking a little bit like your classic alien look. And then I also gave it some antennas that, as I was drawing it, I was like, well, this makes her look a little bit like Mantis. But once I got into the coloring stage, I think that kind of clears it up and fixes it and makes it very clear that this is a Captain Marvel dragon. I also knew that I wanted to do a dragon that didn't have wings but could still fly, because I haven't really done any of those yet. I've done dragons without wings, but they were non-flying dragons. This one, for Captain Marvel, I wanted it to be kind of confusing why this dragon can fly. So I took inspiration from traditional Chinese dragons, the ones that are like have arms and legs but have long snake-like bodies and just kind of wiggle fly through the air. I thought that was a really cool idea, and even though Captain Marvel's not a Chinese character, thought that would work really well for the design of this one. This is probably the weird one of the episode, but I really like how it turned out. Everything came together the way I was hoping it would, and I hope you all like it as well. Captain Marvel as the wingless orbital marvel. Just jumping in for a quick sec to say that upon a bunch of people requesting it, I've put up a lot of the dragons from past episodes as posters on my merch store. So we got stuff like the American Shielded Wyvern, the Nordic Longtail, and it takes a few days for them to register and kick in, but soon the dragons from today's episode will be up and available to order as well. The merch store is very easily accessible right underneath all of my videos on YouTube. Anyway, those are up there along with some Popcross shirts and some stickers from other episodes. Check them out if you're interested, but for now, on to the Spider-Man dragon. Next, we have a very friendly forest dragon called the Dracarachnia, named as such for the spider-like qualities these dragons have. They don't have paws or feet, but instead have sharp and sticky spikes at the ends of their many limbs that they use to cling to trees in the woods that they reside in. These dragons also have mandibles on the sides of their mouths, from which they can fire a sticky gray substance, similar to spiders' webs, with which to ensnare their prey. But despite their spider-like qualities, many consider these dragons to be quite pleasant to behold. Their bright red and blue coloring stands out very vividly in their wooded homes. These dragons are incredibly agile due to their light frame and a winged tail that allows them to make quick turns and spins to dodge around trees as they soar through the forest. Dracarachnias are very welcoming of humans and will often come greet travelers camping in their home areas. They're also eager to please and befriend other dragons. In their region, these dragons often come in contact with iron-plated sky dragons, and the Dracarachnia will often gather artifacts left by humans in the forest to bring as offerings to sky dragons in order to win their favor. These dragons are energetic and playful, and their positive attitude towards other species make them one of the most beloved dragons of any who has ever encountered one. Now for Spider-Man, I knew going in that this had to be one of my best dragons yet. I mean, he's one of my personal favorite characters in comics and movies, and I know he's a lot of other people's favorite characters too. So the thing that was going to be a bit tricky about this one was I obviously wanted to take inspiration from spiders, but I also didn't want to make this character creepy and unsettling looking. I wanted him to be a friendly neighborhood dragon, so to speak. So I did stuff like give him extra eyes, but I also made them very gleamy and friendly gave him almost a bit of a smile on his face. I made him bright and vibrant, and I didn't make his extra limbs creepy and hairy like a spider's would be. As I mentioned in the X-Men Dragons video, I was also looking even more at Monster Hunter designs because the dragons in that are so incredibly cool looking, and I wanted to expand my visual library of dragon and monster elements, so I tried to not obviously rip off anything outright, but I took a lot of ideas from the creatures in that. And one of them that I'd pulled from a dragon in that series was giving this character's wings sort of butterfly-like features, making them kind of shiny and a bit insect-like, even though spiders aren't insects, but, you know, similar. And in the end, I do really love how this one looks, especially with the little environment that I throw in the back, so I hope you all like it as well, the Dracarachnia. Our final dragon of the day is another forest dragon, but one that resides among the trees in East Africa. The long-fanged prowler is a nocturnal dragon that stalks the woods in the night, often only spotted by its glowing yellow eyes, or when it steps into a clearing and can be fully illuminated by the moon on a cloudless night. These dragons have anatomy similar to that of large jungle cats, but their skin is coated in very tough scales. They have wings large enough with which to fly, but often stay close to the ground, hiding in the shadows of the night to watch over all the activity of the forest. They have no specific qualms with humans, but if anyone comes to their homes to hunt dragons or any other forest-dwelling creatures, these dragons will turn the hunters into the hunted and devour the poachers. The Longfangs can breathe fire, but not frequently. As they're in battle with humans or other dragons, they'll slowly be charging up a blast. The more prominent the purple lines across their bodies get, the closer they are to firing and the further away from them you want to be. The purple fire that they breathe is far hotter than a normal flame and can be shot at speeds of up to 200 kilometers an hour. But once fired, they must wait a while to charge up another blast. These dragons are highly territorial, but an incredibly graceful sight to behold. Respect them and their homes, and they will extend the same courtesy towards you. Now with the Black Panther dragon, I messed around a ton with how to do the wings on this one. I feel like I struggle with that a little bit on a lot of these, just figuring out how to position an extra pair of limbs. Because obviously the more limbs a character has, the harder it is to figure out a fitting pose for them that's not obscuring too much of their body with the wings. So I really tried to tuck the wings in on its back, make it look like it's stalking around in the night. I also knew I wanted to have the wings on this one because if I didn't put them in, it would look too much like just a scaly panther. I wanted it to have, you know, dragon elements. It's supposed to look like a dragon. In the last episode, the X-Men one, there were a few dragons that, while I liked them, I felt like I was taking a little bit too much animal inspiration, and they looked more like regular monsters and not quite enough like dragons. Didn't want that to happen with this one, and even though it's not my favorite of the video, I think it does look like a nice blend of panther and dragon. Also, felt weird naming him Prowler because there is a Marvel character named the Prowler, but it's just such a cool word and fits so well with this character. So I hope you all like the last dragon of the video, the Long-Fanged Prowler. Okay, Hulk Dragon and Spider-Man Dragon are definitely two of my favorites that I've done so far. They'll both be up on the merch store soon. And there's a lot more dragon stuff I want to do, but first I want to branch out and do some more general monster stuff. Because I really love the creative freedom I have with stuff like the Ben 10 aliens as D&D monsters. And I haven't done something with kaijus in ages, and I don't even know if I've drawn Godzilla characters on the channel. Maybe I'll have to do that next. Anyway, I love getting people's suggestions in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to check out the other Dragons episodes. Obviously, I've done an earlier round of Avengers as Dragons with Iron Man, Captain America, and a few others. I've done Avengers villains as dragons. I've done Deadpool and the X-Men as dragons. Wow, I really stuck into the Marvel stuff for dragons. Promise I'll branch out with the next one. And of course, I do a lot of other stuff. I venomize characters, put characters into Star Wars or Dungeons and Dragons. If you enjoyed this, you'll probably enjoy a bunch of the other stuff I got on the channel. Most of it's monsters and superheroes, but there's some other stuff as well. Also get super hyped for Monday's episode because there actually is a dragon in that one. Though it's not a dragon-specific episode. I'll tease it in the community post soon, but gotta say it's one of my favorite pieces of art that I've ever made. But anyway, everybody, that's all for today. I'm Christian Pearson. This has been Popcross Studios, home of the nerdiest art videos on YouTube. Remember to subscribe and ring the bell and all that if you enjoyed this. And I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody, and thanks for watching.